Welcome to the Nobody Knowz podcast with Callie Zamzo. Join us for conversations with local changemakers and hear the stories that don't always get told. It'll be honest, messy and beautiful, touching and humorous. Slow down, pour a glass, and pull up a chair. This is the Nobody Knowz podcast.
Welcome to Nobody Knowz. I'm your host, Callie Zamzo, and happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Great day. Hopefully you have some fun plans. Can enjoy the outside, something fun, I hope. And speaking of outside, I want to suggest in a very suggestive way that you consider planting marigolds, zinnias, and petunias in your yard. And I'm going to suggest that because, first of all, they look festive and beautiful and wonderful, but they're also hardworking. Marigolds can help deter common garden pests, and then colorful annuals will bring in pollinators like bees and butterflies, which will help support your whole, all of your plants in your yard. So that was not the tip of the week. You thought it was, but it was not.
It's like a bonus tip.
It is a bonus tip.
I love it.
This is Mother's Day weekend.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yes. This is perfect lead-in. So we're recommending that you, obviously, if you haven't gotten your mother's hanging basket yet, still plenty of baskets to choose from at all of our 12 stores. And you can also pick up fertilizer and soil and mulch and those sorts of things, all to help with all of your blooms in your yard. And remember, I mentioned this last week, but remember to get your mom one of those long watering wands so it makes it easier for her to water those hanging baskets.
Not as entertaining for those of us watching, but more effective.
Yes, indeed. It is sort of fun to see it running down your arm and into your armpit. The water, that is. Not the flowers.
Thanks for the clarification.
All right, Jody, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you or are you a skier or snowboarder?
I was a skier and then I turned into a snowboarder.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And are you still?
No, it's been a while since I've been.
Why?
I have this ability to injure myself most every time I go.
So you'd still be doing it if it wasn't.
I love to snowboard, but every time I would go, I would inevitably be like, this is a great idea. And then my body would be like, no, it's not.
I get that.
So if I would just not try and do stupid things, it would be a blast.
Yeah.
But I do love to snowboard.
I tried snowboarding a little bit, but skiing's always been my thing. I also have hung up my skis. Oh. And by hung up, I think they got sold at a garage sale. But I grew up doing it, and it started with there was a school after school thing. Like the school all went up. It was Kelch Elementary School. We all went up to Bogus, and had an evening skiing session, and I immediately loved it. I thought, first of all, I think the thing I liked was the freedom, because it was like, holy cow, once I can figure out how to do this, I can go up on that chairlift with friends and ski and no parents. It was really kind of a cool thing. And my parents leaned into it. My brother and I would take, I don't even know if they still do it. We'll probably find this out. But there used to be a bus.
The bus, yeah.
So you could pick up,
yeah.
Yes. So we picked up at the Cole, I don't know, it was like at Cole and Eustick. We picked it up there and we would ride up. And my brother and I were pretty young. We were the young kids on the bus. And so these were like teenagers, and we were not yet teenagers. So we learned all sorts of fun things on that bus that my mother would probably be very upset to know. But anyway, it was really fun. Then we would spend the day skiing. She made us take a lesson. So we would take a lesson that she signed us up for. And we always did that. We never skipped. Took the lesson. And then the rest of the day, freedom on the mountain. We got to eat lunch when we wanted and ski when we wanted. And, it was just so much fun. All we had to do was be back on that bus by 4 p.m. to get our butts back down because they were not coming to get us.
Did they ever miss the bus?
We never did, because the threat was, well, we aren't going to come get you. So you must make that, and at the time I wasn't thinking about how they probably would have come and got us now that I think back on it. But yeah, anyway.
It was a good threat, though. I like it.
It was. It was very good. It was effective. So the reason I bring all of this up is that we today have Brad Wilson with us. He is the Bogus Basin General Manager. And I'm very excited to talk with you about Bogus. So much has changed since the mid-'80s when I was doing that as a young kid. So welcome to the studio.
Well, thank you.
So glad to have you here.
It's great to be here. And so much has changed and so much has stayed the same.
It's true.
We still have those ski buses that come up every weekend.
You do?
And every day during the holidays. And we still have after-school ski programming that comes up in the afternoon and early evenings. We teach about 5,000 kids a year in that after-school ski program. So, yes, things have changed, but we haven't forgotten the essence of who we are, and that is get kids up on the mountain.
So cool. So the buses, are they all just like they were back then, where you would pick up at different
Absolutely.
places?
They actually start in Eagle, and they go through Meridian, and they end up picking up right at the elementary school at the bottom of the hill on Bogus Basin Road. It's the last pickup, and they head up the hill.
So cool.
Yeah.
It really is
$10 round trip.
It had to have been, like, I'm sure it was probably less than that then, but it had to have been close to that then. Like, that is very inexpensive.
We subsidize it. I mean, we fill the bus. We still lose $500 a day. So it's just enough so people appreciate it, but not so much that it actually pays for the bus.
I get that. I remember that there was a bump, and I don't even know if it still is, but you're almost to Bogus. And our bus driver, we thought her name was Bonita because it said a name up above, but then we weren't sure. We never wanted to ask, but we think her name was Bonita. Anyway, she would yell, "Here's the bump!" every time I got to the bump, and we would laugh and laugh. And then you'd hit the bump, and we would shoot up in the air. Like, it would catch, we would fly. It was kind of fun.
That bump is where the trolls live.
That's true.
So that's the cattle guard. So there's a whole nother, we could have a whole podcast on the trolls, but we'll save that for later.
We were talking about that just the other day, because haven't the cattle guards, they've changed, yeah?
They took them out, but then they put in like fake cattle guards.
Oh.
So the trolls felt like they still had a place to go.
Well, I like knowing that. I know that's really kind of silly, but I do.
You gotta love ACHD for that.
That's fair. We've already jumped into this. I like you already. This is great. Do you want to just kind of quickly tell us about you, just a little background about you and who you are?
Sure. I've just finished my 11th season at Bogus, and I'm still the new guy. I mean, the amount of years that team has under their belt up there, it's just amazing. I inherited an incredible team of people. Virtually the same people were there when I arrived, and we've just grown up together over the last 11 years. So it's been terrific. But I've been in the ski industry, if you will, all my adult life. I mean, I started working at a ski shop when I was 18 years old and worked through college, opened up my own ski shop for 7 years, then became a ski patroller, and that's what got me really hooked into the ski resort business, was from ski patrolling. And I knew I couldn't go too high in ski patrol unless the three guys above me died. So I figured, well, there's got to be another route, so I figured that out.
Interesting. So are you, when I think about people who have done this for a good chunk of their life, I think there are different, like, types of people.
Yes.
Stereotypes. Do you fall into any of the stereotypes? That's a really awful question to ask somebody, but I'm just curious.
That is a good question. You may have asked my wife that question. I fall into the stereotype that I am a passionate skier. And I still have that passion. I mentioned earlier, I just got back from a weekend. I skied Grand Targhee and Jackson Hole, fantastic skiing. And I was thinking in my head, well, I've skied here before, and I was trying to do the math. Well, how long ago was it? I realized it was 50 years ago that I had skied there. Nothing had changed, of course, but no. So it's just it's remarkable. It is, yeah. To even be able to say that, I'm like, wow. And yeah, I'm still skiing hard, skiing well, having fun, and still have the same passion for this sport as I did back when I was 22.
Just for the younger people listening saying, oh, well, that will never happen to me. You're wrong. If you're lucky, it will. I guess we should say that. If you're lucky, you get to live long enough to do that. And I'm telling you that when you have those moments where you're like, I think my dad told me this, when I meet people, when I see people, I'm like, I haven't seen you in 25 years. That's like, how the heck did that happen? Or 30, or now I can definitely say 40 or longer. Anyway, but I don't feel any older. It's not like, it really does feel like yesterday in a lot of cases.
It's crazy. And the one thing that I do appreciate is the fact that I've taken care of myself so I can do these things at my age. And, you don't have that appreciation when you're young.
Yeah, it's true.
You don't have that measurement like, oh, geez, if I'm 70, can I still? No, you're just going, where am I going to go have a beer next?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really, important, I think, for the young people to realize it will catch up with you. So take care of yourself.
That's such a great message. You're exactly right. Probably not listening, but I know I wasn't. I was not paying attention to that kind of stuff, but it's great advice. So what first drew you into? Like, was it that you were a skier and then you decided, okay, I think I want to do this, or was there like an opportunity that
Well, I think initially it was just I learned to ski in the early 1970s, and skiing was the fastest growing sport in the world at the time. And you had hot dogging. You've probably heard of that. Freestyle skiing was new, and Wayne Wong and all these crazy guys. And I just got hooked into that in high school, and then went to college, and I was probably skiing more than I was going to school, going to class. So I was skiing 100 days a year in high school.
Wow.
I mean, in college. And it did take me 5 years to get through it, but I enjoyed the heck out of it. So I was really hooked when I came out of college, and then tried to figure out a way to stay within or get into the ski industry. And I opened my own ski shop, and I had that for 7 years, and then ski patrolled as well. But then I did get a really good opportunity to interview for a position I never expected to take or get have it offered to me, and it was at Heavenly in Lake Tahoe. It was a national sales manager's position, something I had really no experience doing other than I had my own business. And I went up there with 400 other people that were applying for the role, and somehow they offered it to me.
Wow.
And I was shocked. But I accepted it. And that was the start of my career within the ski resort industry. And then ever since, I've been plugging along.
Yeah. Well, what did that entail? What was that first job? That's interesting.
It was crazy. It was, I knew the vice president of marketing just slightly up there. So he knew who I was from my ski shop. That got me in the door. But I had to interview there was like 12 vice presidents, and then the owner, and there was I'll never forget this long table with the vice presidents on the side, and the owner, who's kind of a short guy like me, with an elevated chair at the end. So you kind of had to look up at him. And
awesome.
They just threw questions at me.
Wow.
And because I didn't go up there with this, God, I got to get this job. I was very relaxed, and I guess it came through, and they liked me. And next thing I knew, I was moving to Lake Tahoe.
Wow, there's a lesson in that for our listeners if they're getting nervous about going into something. That
take a deep breath and relax.
Yeah. I like that. That's very good. Okay, so you've had a long career in Idaho tourism. So have you seen that change over time? Have you seen it kind of, let us, what do you think?
Well, the big change was COVID. The big change was, we were doing well pre-COVID as far as visitations were concerned. But COVID just put everything on fast forward, and people just got out.
Yeah.
And just wanted to be in the outside, mainly because they could be around people outside versus inside. So, the COVID year, after the COVID closed down, we were super busy, and then we have just stayed busy through that. So, there was a silver lining to that mess.
Yeah.
And it is that more people are outside than ever before. So I think that really, changed and put a lot of pressure on us. We went from being busy to being too busy and having to really adjust how many people we want on the mountain. Before it was like, everybody come up, we're happy. Anybody wants to come up. And then all of a sudden after COVID, it's like, you're gonna need to stay down because we don't have any room for you.
Yeah.
And the last thing we wanted to do was get greedy and have too many people on the mountain, have parking lot filled and people driving up and having to turn around and go home. So we instituted some programs like cutting off lift ticket sales. ahead of time and asking people to buy in advance. We actually limit the number of season passes we sell now.
Wow.
So we can control that big population of season pass holders as well. So we really had to do a lot to protect what makes Bogus so cool and unique, and that is just the experience on the mountain.
Right.
And the one thing that is really the limiter to the numbers of people on the mountain is our parking. We have a limited amount of parking. And we know if we expanded our parking, we could put more people on the mountain, but then you end up kind of killing the golden goose. Now you have this great experience, short lift lines, and you just mess that up.
Right.
So we're not adding parking until we can add more ski terrain and more lifts. So we're kind of in this balancing point right now where we feel good about it, but we still are turning people away virtually every weekend of the winter.
Wow. Yeah, things certainly have changed. That's interesting. So you got the job maybe 5 years before COVID hit, so you had just a little bit of a lead in.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of you really had enough time to get your sea legs, and then boom, like all hell broke loose.
Oh my God, yeah. We joke, my team, we still have PTSD from that. The whole mask thing, and asking people to wear them, and we closed all the base facilities, and we operated in tents with open air, and it was. I look back on, I don't know how we did it, and we being upper management actually did all the hard work. We were the ones talking to customers. We just didn't feel good putting, hourly seasonal people out there with angry customers.
Yeah.
So the four of us really, Nate Shake, for instance, and Jamie Zolber, and we all just spent every weekend and every holiday outside and talking to people. And I think it had a big effect, because when you hear it from, the people that are running the place, it resonates better than, some 18-year-old kid who's just up there so he can go skiing on his break.
Right. Right. You mentioned Nate Shake. Can we just talk about him just briefly?
Oh, I'd love to talk about Nate.
So I went, full disclosure, I went to high school with him, and great guy. And then, so I was talking about right before we got turned on the microphone. So let's talk a little bit about the legacy there with his father and then now what he does and how long he's been there. You
bet. So Steve Shake, Nate's dad, was the director of mountain operations for years and years, 25 years. Nate grew up coming to work with his dad on weekends, and he and his brother. And then when Nate turned 14, he could actually work at Bogus Basin. So he started working at Bogus Basin at 14. And so now he's been there for 37 years. And now Nate has the same job his dad had. He is director of mountain operations.
So awesome.
So it's a second generation Shake for mountain operations. And it's a wonderful legacy. His dad still comes up and helps us with heavy equipment frequently, does snow removal. So he technically works for his son, but
oh man,
we'll let that go.
So incredibly cool. They, just a little shout out to them. They were always, like anytime that there were dances or whatever, Nate's parents were like right there. I think for prom, they brought out their big boat and took us up to Lucky Peak, and like they just made things seem like a fairy tale. They're such good people. So anyway, thank you if you're listening. Hope you're listening, for all that you did for us crazy kids when we were in high school. Okay, so the interesting thing I think that some people know, some people do not know, is that Bogus operates as a nonprofit. So
Yes.
Can you speak to that? Because that is a whole different ball game.
Well, it is. And I, having worked, this is the 9th ski area I've worked at in
Wow.
my career. So I have a little experience with other for-profit ski areas. This is the first nonprofit I've ever worked for. And it is a unicorn within the ski industry. There are other nonprofits. Most of them are nonprofits because they couldn't make money and they needed to become a nonprofit to take donations to stay in business. We're different. We have been a nonprofit since day one, since 1942. And so it would be impossible to actually start something like Bogus Basin from scratch nowadays. But the fact that we've grown with the community and started 83 years ago, it's just an amazing place to be, because technically we have no ownership. We have an association that oversees I would say the broader operation, and from that 100-person association, they choose 13 board members, and those board members have a 9-year stint as a board member, and those are the people I report to. And so, and they're all volunteer, part of the community from vast areas of the community, from lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, skiers, of course. And so it's really, really unique. And what that does for us is everybody is kind of pulling the same direction. They're there on the board because they want to see us do well. And of course, the management team, we are all pulling the same direction. So it's really the consistency and the teamwork involved between the board and our team at Bogus Basin is really quite remarkable. And probably from my perspective, the most unique thing about being a nonprofit is every dollar spent at the ski area stays there. We don't have to share and there's a big misnomer that if you're a nonprofit, you can't make money. Well, you can. It's just that money has to stay within the organization. It can't go outside to shareholders, which we have none, of course, or owners or anything else. It stays within the operation. And for us, we've been very successful for the time I've been here, and there's a lot of luck involved in that. It's not all me. Mother Nature's been quite kind. And so we've done very well, and we have been able to reinvest back into the operation over $80 million in the time that I've been here.
Wow.
And that's 3 new chairlifts, it's new trails, it's bringing snowmaking, which was the one thing that kept us alive this year.
Yeah.
It's instituting summer activities with the mountain coaster and all the activities we have, mountain biking and things. All of that is because all the money that our user group, our season pass holders and our ticket people that buy lift tickets, basically invest in Bogus Basin, and we make sure that we continue to improve the operation.
So can we talk about this winter that wasn't?
The winter that wasn't.
Yeah, yes. Because I don't remember the last time that we had a winter that was quite like this.
There's never been one.
No? That's why then.
That's yes. Unless you go back to prehistoric times. No. It is, as far as we can tell, it was the warmest, up there particularly, the warmest winter in history. So starting in November, it was warm. And we had 5 days of snowmaking in November, which is just historically bad in itself.
Yeah.
And then you had not just warmth, but you also had rain. So if we would have gotten snow when we got rain, we would have had 300 inches this year. But we were just on the cusp of the warm. And if you look south of us to Utah, to Colorado, to California, they were in the same boat we were. I mean, they struggled. Deer Valley's closed, Park City's closed. So many of the big ski areas, even with big snowmaking systems, huge snowmaking systems, have had to close early. So we weren't alone. Misery loves company, but it was still made it a tough winter.
Yeah.
But one of the things we could take away from this winter is totally unique. We actually opened on the Saturday of Thanksgiving holiday. We opened on snow that we had stored from the year before.
What? How is that even possible?
Well, nobody thought it was. We, through just kind of being in the industry, I realized that in Scandinavian countries, they were doing World Cup ski races in the fall on snow that they had saved from the year before. So Nate Shake and I were looking like, how do they do that?
Yeah.
And so Nate found online this company that specialized in making these covers where you build the snow up, huge piles, you cover it with these special covers, and you end up with about 80% of the snow that you stored.
That's wild to me.
It is, and we were the first ski area to do it from one season to the next in the United States. There was one ski area in Canada that did it the same year as we did, and this company, it's called Snow Secure. They're from Finland. They were just entering the United States when we called them. I mean, we called them in Finland, and we had to do all that time change stuff. Like, how do you get a hold of somebody from Finland? But it worked out amazingly well. They came up. They helped us put the covers over the pile, and we uncovered it in late October. And lo and behold, 80% of the snow was still there. And then when Thanksgiving rolled around, we pushed it out, and we opened one of our conveyor lifts, one of our carpets, with that snow from last year.
That's so
cool. And
cool.
we're doing it again right now. So we just have a giant pile up there.
That's I think a couple of different things very cool. Number one, just in general, that's cool. It's particularly cool that it's happening at our mountain, our little mountain. Like, you guys did something entirely unique, and like you. I love that. I guess there's a part of me that is thinking sometimes when we aren't one of the big guys, we think, well, we can't do some of the things that big guys, and you did things that big guys weren't doing, which is really cool.
Well, it's funny because we're just more limber than the big guys are.
Yeah,
we can
that's
make
true.
decisions, and it kind of comes back to that nonprofit. We're not looking for a quick ROI, return on our investment, on doing things. So we could take some risks like Snow Secure, and we could do it. And we did. I mean, we got national notoriety. We are on NPR, national. We just did an interview with NBC. It's really blown up because it's so unique. People like you, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah.
Well, we do. And we actually had planned on expanding it dramatically this year. But the one thing we realized is you need to have snow to store it.
There's
and
the
we
rub.
did not have enough snow to expand a great deal from last year, but we have more of the covers now. So next year, our long range goal is to open coach 100% on stored snow every year.
Oh, that's cool.
And that saves us water because we need to make that snow to open coach and other trails early season. So we don't have to make that snow again. The snow sits there, and it's a substantial amount of water equivalent under those covers. Wow. So it's another step in trying to protect ourselves against climate change. So we have the snow storage, and then we have snow making. And so those two things are really the two elements that we feel that we can help guard against seasons like we just had.
Yeah. Our little mountain is, it feels like a bigger deal to me, maybe just because I grew up here, but then it does maybe for, like, my cousins grew up near a different mountain in a different state, and they don't have the same sort of passion, I think, that we do for Bogus. There's something about this community that just loves our little mountain. Why do you think that is?
I really go out of my way. I love to ski. I already told you that. But I go ski by myself so I can ride the chair with our customers. And it's like an elevator speech for 6 minutes when you get on the chair with 3 people you don't know.
That's cool.
But I learned so much from our season pass holders and our skiers up there that it's just remarkable. And the thing that's really, really cool and unique about Bogus Basin is we have the same customers. Our market is the Treasure Valley. That's it. We don't advertise anywhere else. I mean, great. Somebody comes from Chicago, wants to ski here. Wonderful. But we don't depend on it. We don't need it. We have plenty of people within the Treasure Valley, and those people are repeat customers. So, I mean, over the course of the time I've been there, I mean, thousands of people know me because I've probably ridden the chair with them.
Yeah.
Or they've seen me on TV or heard me on podcasts. But, and it's just, it's remarkable. And for that reason that we're a local, we're a nonprofit, they feel buy-in, and we want them to feel like this is their community mountain. And our mission statement is to provide affordable, accessible, fun mountain recreation and education. So everything we do, we run through that filter of that mission statement to make sure that we're not doing something that's off topic for the community. So everything we do is to try to benefit the community and, of course, the ski area at the same time.
Yeah. Will you talk a little bit about the summer mountain? Because I think, we all, you kind of understand the winter part of it. But full disclosure, I had people talk to me about going up there in the summertime. I assumed they just were going up there to hike around or whatever. And then last summer, actually, my girlfriends from high school said, for your birthday, we want to take you up there. And I was like, all right, and I didn't realize when I got up there, I was like, holy cow, this is a whole thing. So will you kind of just talk about it a little bit, like what goes on up in the summer?
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the reasons I was hired is because I just finished a master plan development at the ski area I was at that included summer activities. So I was fresh off of the research for that. So when I came on, it was one of the first things we did was to institute summer activities. And being 100% dependent on winter is a risky proposition, as you could see this year. And so trying to spread out the visitations and the revenue over summer and winter is really, it's a healthy thing to do. And there are now, as you can see at Bogus Basin, a lot of summer activities that people love. The mountain coaster is kind of it's the big anchor for our summer activities. It's a high thrill activity with low skill. So
That's
all
well
you have
said.
to do is hold on to and push it forward, and it's really, you don't have to be able to balance or anything. And it's just a great activity. And we have kids come up, and your ticket includes unlimited rides. I think we had a kid who rode it 43 times in one day.
I love that.
So yeah, it's wild. And then we have a new aerial adventure course, which is a 3-level challenge course. It does take some, I wouldn't say skill, patience perhaps, balance, and it's super fun to do. And then we have summer tubing, where you sit on an inner tube and go down an artificial sliding surface, and you can race your mom and dad on it, and it's really fun. And a bungee jump and a rock climbing wall, and all these activities, really family focused, as I'm sure you saw when you're up there. It's just all kids, families.
There was music going on the day that we were there, which was fun.
And then we have music once a month. We have multiple bands up there, and then every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we have somebody playing on the patio. So we're just, what we want to provide is just an outlet for people in the Treasure Valley to come up, get out of the heat. We know it gets warm in Boise. It's 15 to 20 degrees cooler up in the mountains at 6,000 feet, and just provide them an outlet. And the beauty of what we're able to accomplish is you don't need to spend a penny. We encourage you, come up with your ice chest and your blanket, put it on the lawn, enjoy your lunch, go for a hike, and have fun. Tell people how much fun Bogus Basin was. We're not grabbing you by the ankles and shaking the money out of your pockets. If you want to spend it, that's great, but we're not requiring that.
And that's exactly what we did. A couple of my friends brought their kids up, and their kids stayed busy because they had fun things that they were doing, and we just picnicked and hung out and talked about what it was like when we were teenagers. That's what you do when you're 50, kids, in case you're wondering. How far in advance do you have to plan things for the mountain? Like for instance, like when you decided that you were going to change and do some summer things, how far do you have to be thinking?
Well, all depends on how large the program you want to put together is. It could be anywhere from just a year to multiple years. Yeah. We're looking at cutting 2 brand new trails on the Pine Creek side of the ski area, top to bottom trails, and taking Showcase, which is the last of the double chairs, and removing that and realigning it up to go up Tiger and kind of get you direct access to the backside.
Oh, interesting.
And it's probably taken us 2 years through the NEPA process with the Forest Service to get approval to do that. And we now have approval to do that. Now we just have to figure out how we can afford to do it. But the planning is the scope of the plans really is dictating, how much time it has. If we're doing things on Forest Service land, there is a process we have to go through from an environmental perspective, which is great because we want to protect the environment.
Right.
If it takes a couple years, so be it. On our private land, which you'll see the coaster and all of our base lodges and things are on private land, so the planning could be a little shorter for that.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm thinking as you look out on, I mean, even like 5 to 10 years, because this valley continues to grow in population, what must that be like? Or maybe I'm just asking you that. What is that like to think about this mountain that, I mean, it does have its limits. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
only so many square feet, right? And so, yeah, what is that?
We have a plan for that.
Yeah?
We do. Yeah.
I love hearing that.
Yes. So we have a long range plan, and I say long, it could be 3 to 5 years or longer, to open up a new area of terrain, about 600 acres, which we're 2,600 acres right now. So that would put us at 3,200 acres, which would be in the top, 15 ski areas in the country, believe it or not, with that much acreage. But it's an area that's directly off of the Deer Point Chair.
Okay.
And you basically go due east from the top of and down into this area called Clear Creek. We have spoken to the Forest Service about it. They know that our intentions. We just haven't pulled the trigger yet formally with them. What we really want to do in the community is talk to them before we go out and try to formalize expansion down there to make sure the community supports it. And that's just not the ski community does. We know that. They're all about it. But there are hunters and fishermen and hikers, and although the area is very remote, there's really no roads down into that area. So it's not like we're taking somebody's camping site or anything, but still, we want to talk to the outdoor community and make sure that they're okay with this before we really get into it. But it provides just an amazing amount of additional skiing. It can be accessed by one long, high-speed detachable quad, for instance. It would give us plenty of upward mobility and really completely change the whole way the ski area would ski.
Well, like I said, I like.
So we have a plan for that.
About that. Yes. I like that. Let's just say that one of our listeners is listening in and they're like, I want that dude's job. What advice would you give them? Let's say they're just finishing high school. They're just kind of, that late teens, and they've got the whole world ahead of them. What sort of advice would you give them?
Boy, I wish I could give a succinct answer to that. So one of my best friends was a professor at a small college in Lake Tahoe, Sierra Nevada College, and he taught ski area management, and he would bring all the GMs from the ski areas around Lake Tahoe in to talk to his classes. He'd always save me for last because it took me 25 years to get from the director of marketing position to a GM position.
Wow.
And I wanted to be GM shortly after I became a director of marketing.
Absolutely.
So I stuck with it. And he used me as an example of somebody who really, had the patience to stick with his convictions long enough to get to that point. So it's an interesting business because it's a lot of people end up in my position because they've just been at a ski area for a very long time and they kind of move up slowly. Mm-hmm. I don't have the patience for that. So I had a tendency to ping pong back and forth, trying to move up with each change in employment, moving up the ladder that way. And you could do it either way. You need patience either way.
Yeah.
But I would say before you consider this as a vocation, work at a ski area. Get your college degree. It's really important. Study leadership. Marketing is a good avenue to get in as well because you learn the whole operation from the marketing side, and then give it a little time. Don't get out of high school and think you're going to be general manager, and it'll take a while.
Oh, we all want that right after we graduate. And it is amazing. Still speaking to this person that's listening, it is amazing how as time goes by, you do get there and it doesn't feel as long as you think it's going to take. Like it probably is as long as, but it doesn't feel like it once you're there.
Well, and what I used to tell those students is enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
It took me a long time, but I had a wonderful life in the business. And I enjoyed everywhere I was. I mean, I was everywhere, including Catalina Island.
That's right.
Which you wrote on your notes.
I did. I was all excited
which
about
was my only departure from the ski industry in 50 years was that.
Interesting. What did you do there?
Did you
tell me you ran the Catalina wine mixer?
No, but I heard it yelled at me dozens of
really?
times. If anybody on the mainland heard you from Catalina, like, Catalina wine mixer! Like, oh, geez.
We're so unoriginal.
Oh, yeah. Now, I ended up there. I was hired as a chief marketing officer for basically for the Wrigley family, Wrigley Chewing Gum, that owned 80% of the commercial land on the island. The family used to own the entire island. William Wrigley, who started Wrigley Chewing Gum, bought the island in 1919.
Wow!
Outright, owned the whole thing, and so the family still owns the lion's share of all the developable land on the island. So I was headhunted to there, and it intrigued me because I was struggling trying to move up the ladder from marketing to management. And I thought, well, this will give me an opportunity to get more hospitality experience. Mm-hmm. So they offered me the job, and I pushed back. I said, look, you need to give me more management experience. So they agreed to provide that for me. So I was hired as chief marketing officer, and after 2 years, I became chief operating officer for all of their lines of business that had liquor licenses, which included golf course and the round building you see in all the pictures of Catalina. It's called the Casino Building. It never has had gaming. It's casino means gathering place in Italian. Oh. So it's a gathering place, and then beach clubs and restaurants and all that. So I oversaw all that and the marketing. Lots of hats when you live on an island. Yeah. And I gained a tremendous amount of experience. And probably for the first time in my career, it actually was the decision-making that the people had that hired me in Lake Tahoe. That's what separated me from everybody else, was that I had that unique experience, and that got me through the door. So, I tried a lot of different things in trying to move up, and it actually worked. So, pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Really, really good advice there. Just try things.
Sometimes get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
Move to an island.
That's so great. I'm going to take a quick break and thank our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Zamzows, your local source for garden, pet, and planet-friendly products. As a thank you to our Nobody Knowz listeners, use code BOGUS at checkout at zamzows.com to receive 10% off your online order. The discount applies automatically and is valid online only and does exclude lawn programs. And it runs through August 31st of 2026. You can buy online and pick up in store at any of our 12 locations, and visit zamzows.com. Let's grow something good.
Nobody knows like Zamzows.
All right, now we're going to shift gears to a section I call Sharing is Caring.
Oh.
Or Rapid Fire.
Uh-huh.
Answer how you like. So here we go. You ready?
Sure.
All right. How about a favorite way you personally like to experience Bogus Basin? It can be summer or winter.
It is summer and winter. It is skiing and it's mountain biking. So those are the two things I go out and experience almost daily. Even this year, I got 50 days of skiing in this year.
Wow.
Now, that's not all day, believe me. That's a 2-hour lunch break. But nonetheless, I want to be on the mountain in the winter, and then in the summer, I mountain bike a ton and ride all over Bogus Basin and enjoy it. I love it.
It's so fitting. I would think that is what makes you a good leader of that particular of that mountain, because you do it. You love the mountain. You use the mountain.
It's really important that everybody sees that I'm engaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I joke. There used to be a management saying that managing by walking around. Like if you had a manufacturing plant, you'd manage by walking around saying hi to people. Well, I manage by skiing around. So it works.
It's so great. Okay, how about a local spot in the Treasure Valley that you always recommend?
I recommend people come downtown.
Yeah.
And walk around downtown, because it is just so unique. It's so clean. It's unique. Walk down by the river. It is truly, but Boise's just one of a kind. When I first moved here, I lived close to the co-op, and I would walk downtown, for dinner, and walking home. It's just such a cool place.
Yeah, I agree. It continues to be cool. And I like the way that we're growing. I think it's an interesting downtown, and I think it's being thoughtfully developed. And
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think it's very cool. All right. How about a leader or mentor that has influenced your leadership style?
Well, fortunately, early on in my career, I was recruited to a ski area in all places, Southern California.
Wow.
Who even knew they had skiing down there?
Who knew?
I didn't at the time. But I ended up with working at this ski area that was owned by a fairly large conglomerate out of Vermont. And we are going to take over the world, so to speak. They're going to put all this money into the ski area. And, you have 30 million people at your back door, so you have a pretty large audience. But I worked for this team of people that were just absolutely remarkable. This organization that bought this ski area, they went out and spent as much money as they thought they needed to find the best people. I was like one step below those people, by the way. But I learned a lot. And the president of the company was a gentleman that had just come from Aspen. He was the youngest president of Aspen Ski Corp. And they hired him to run this ski area and to develop this ski area. His name's Jerry Bland. He went on to be the CEO of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort for years and years. He just retired in 2018. But he really showed me what it was to be a leader in the ski resort business. He was a great mentor. I learned so much from him. And everybody within his management group became general managers. Whether it was the lifts manager, the marketing manager, the CFO, every single one of our team members became general managers of ski areas. And guess who was the last one? Me. But as soon as I did, I shot Jerry a note, said, okay, last one standing. And we joke. We've had reunions, and we call ourselves Jerry's kids. So.
Oh. I love that. Oh, what a guy.
Yeah, he was a great mentor.
Awesome. Okay, we're at the part of the show where I ask the same question to every guest.
Oh, boy.
And there are no rules.
Okay.
So answer it however you like. The question is, what is something that nobody knows?
Well, for the first 35 years I was alive, my birthday was January 25th. Yeah, I had it on my driver's license, and I was born January 25th. At 35 years old, I finally went to get a passport, and I had to go get my birth certificate. So I was in Lake Tahoe at the time. I drove to San Francisco. I was born in San Francisco, got my birth certificate, got it out, looked at it. It said January 27th.
What?
I was like, wait, I'm 2 days younger than I... So,
is wild.
It had my mom's signature on it, my footprint on it, all that. I mean, it was legit. So I called my mom, and of course she denied it. They were wrong, but it was just the weirdest thing. It was like, really? I'm 2 days younger, and then of course I had to deal with how do you change your birthday?
Right.
And yeah, I won't tell you how I did it, but I did.
Well, so do you? Which one do you think is correct, or do you know?
Oh, it's the 27th.
It is.
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's just an error in the way that.
I know my mom well enough.
Okay.
It was that birth certificate's right, and my mom was she was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is really something. I've never even heard of that.
No, I hadn't either.
That's incredible. That was a great answer.
Well, and the crazy thing is, so I had a passport that said 127, and I had my driver's license 125. So if they ever asked for two forms of ID, they didn't match up.
Oh boy.
So this was before 9/11, so I wasn't arrested anywhere, but it was like people were wondering, well, what's with this guy? But yeah. So I eventually got my driver's license changed, and now it's all good.
So great.
Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Now I'm 2 days younger. I feel great.
We'll take it, right?
That's right. All the days we can.
Yes, exactly. Before we wrap it up, if people want to learn more about Bogus, understand more about what's going on, how would they learn that?
Well, 2 ways. One is the website, or actually 3 ways. One is the website has all the information you might want to learn about Bogus Basin. Social media, of course, is really the ongoing conversation. We are adamant about how we respond to social media. We literally, if you ask a question, you have a comment on any of our posts on social media, we respond.
Wow.
I can almost say day or night because our marketing team is like, they're all over it. So it's really cool. If you, it's not a chat bot either. This live people that will comment and will answer questions for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, and our director of marketing innovation is Austin Smith, an incredibly young guy, and he has just perfected this, and he has a great team that works with him. So it's just super lively and functional and feels good.
Yeah.
And if people have complaints, they deal with it very, very well. And, we don't defer, we don't block, we don't erase, we answer questions. And sometimes they're hard and sometimes they're compliments.
Good
Mostly
for you.
the compliments.
Good for you. Good for you. I mean, that's hard. That's very hard to do.
It is tough, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So did you say it also via social, via the website?
Yeah, I'm missing one. What was that third one?
What would it be? Well, if they go to one of the other 2, they'll learn about the third.
Exactly. I had it there, but
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This has been a delightful conversation. I still want to talk to you about mouth taping, but I guess we'll have to do that in another episode. But thank you. We did. But thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing with this treasure of our valley. We love Bogus Basin. We love the mountain, and we love what you're doing up there. So thank you.
Well, all I can say is it is an absolute pleasure to work at an organization like Bogus Basin and to provide this to such an amazing community of the Treasure Valley. I mean, it's an honor for me to be there, and I don't take that lightly. And we will continue to do what we've been doing and continue to reinvest and make sure that Bogus is always a better place than the last time you were there. And thank you for inviting me here. This has been really fun.
Absolutely. Very fun. I agree. It's nice to get to know you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you enjoyed today's conversation, please follow the podcast and leave a review. Next week, we'll hear from another incredible voice shaping the Treasure Valley. And until then, thanks for listening.